Hey guys, it's Robsy back with Paperless Student. In today's video, we are discussing everything you need to know about GoodNotes. If any of you guys are interested in knowing everything about Notability, I'll put the link down in the description below. I'm really excited about today's video for two reasons. The first reason is that I'm recording directly on the iPad screen, testing out the recording tool, the screen recording tool of the beta iOS 11. The second reason is that GoodNotes is my favorite note-taking application. In my humble opinion, it's the best note-taking application on the market at the moment. So let's get started with this video. When you're opening up your GoodNotes application, starting it up completely, you will get into the uncategorized category. This is the default setting of the application. If you had the application working in the background, then you would have the document that you last worked on being open instead. The page has a few buttons to customize your application, and it shows thumbnails of your notes that you have in that uncategorized category. In my case, I only have 2 notebooks in this category. Starting at the bottom of the far right hand corner, we have options, and under options we have template library, Wi-Fi file transfer, backup, and settings. These help you to set up the settings for your whole application. So we'll go through each of these and then I will show you guys how you use them and how useful they are for you. Your template library is a collection of covers and paper templates for the notebooks that you'll be creating in GoodNotes. This template library contains a ton of different paper types and sizes. You have A5, A4, and even A3 paper that you can use, either lined, plain, narrow ruled, quad ruled. These are all the options that you have. Different types of papers you even have for guitar score. You have mobile papers, you have writing papers, US paper, US letter, and you have graph paper as well. The templates you have in this application, they're really a lot, but should you be unhappy with these templates, you can always add your own, either as a JPEG or as a PDF file that you can just add. And the best part is that when you add templates, they actually act just as well as the ones that came with the application, so they don't feel foreign at all, and they just feel like they came with the application. They feel as if they're default templates that came with your application. Your library also contains a ton of covers that make the thumbnail of your notes look beautiful. They have a wide range as well that you can choose from, and just like paper templates, you can decide to import some if you're not happy with the ones that they're offering you. So going back to our options, we have an option to transfer files via Wi-Fi to your computer if it's on the same network with your iPad. You can back up your notes in different cloud services, but there's something that only GoodNotes offers. You can back up your notes into another application that's on your iPad, and it's something I've only seen that you can only find in GoodNotes. No other application actually does that. Back up your notes in all of these applications that you can see here, which is a good thing. If you don't like using cloud services, you can always have another application that has all the notes that you have in GoodNotes. Now for the full settings in GoodNotes, we have settings for general settings, document editing, palm rejection, smart stylus, automatic backup, iCloud, and about. We'll go through each of these and I'll explain to you guys how you use them. In general settings, you can choose your default language from a couple, you guys can see, and this will help you with searching your notes and handwriting recognition. So these are the languages that are supported. We have English, Espanol, Francais, Italiano, I think that's Chinese or Japanese, Korean. These are the options that you have, and then you can also choose how your notes are imported from your friends or from other applications. If you want to keep the annotations from your friends, then you just leave this option on like I have. But if you want a clean document from your friends and you don't want their annotations, you want to make your own, then you just turn it off and your document will be imported in as good as new. You also get to decide what cloud services you want to use in your GoodNotes, and you have 4 to choose from. I have Dropbox at the moment. That's the only one I'm using. And the last option you have in general settings is troubleshooting. You can restore your default templates. In case you don't like clutter, you can delete all the templates in the library and restore them whenever you need them. I've used this myself and it was quite useful. And the last thing you can do is regenerate missing thumbnails. I have not used this one myself. I haven't found it useful so far. So that is all you have in your general settings. And now we'll go to the document editing. For your document editing, this involves turning off certain buttons. So the automatic screen lock, mine is on. I have no idea what it is. So my policy is, if you don't understand it, leave it in default settings. So that's what I did. This tool hasn't bothered me. I haven't found anything weird for me to actually research what this is. So unfortunately, I can't really say much about it. But when I do find out what it really does, if it makes any difference to your writing experience, then I will let you guys know. And then you have the status bar. You can turn it off or on. I left mine on because the status bar is the bar at the very top of your page that shows your time. On my screen at the moment, it has a blue line on it because I'm screen recording. So that's the status bar. I'll turn it off and show you guys how it looks. Pay attention to the top of the page. This is how the application will look if you don't have the status bar. So it's something you don't pay attention to until it's gone. Turning it off will give you a bit more working space, a few millimeters to be precise, but it just looks weird for me. And so I like my status bar on. Thank you very much. Which is why in my settings, I leave it on all the time because I just love it on. Pull to add a page. I would suggest you leave this on because it makes adding pages in GoodNotes so much easier. I'll demonstrate for you. It makes adding notes paper very simple. So this is pull to add. You pull, and then when the arrow changes, you let it go. Pull, then the arrow changes, you let it go. And I've added a few pages already. There are different ways to add pages into your GoodNotes, but this is by far the easiest and most convenient way to do it. And then you have the clear page confirmation dialog. You really want this on because you can accidentally tap one of the tools to clear your page and you wish they'd asked you first before actually doing it. And then the toolbar position, you can have it at the top or you can have it at the bottom. It comes down to personal preference. Wherever you put it, even at the bottom, it will be fine. It will work just fine because GoodNotes has great palm rejection capabilities. In other applications, you'd worry changing up your writing tools with your palm while you're in the middle of a sentence. In GoodNotes, it never happens, even if you're running a beta software on your iPad. I leave mine at the top for all my applications. I've become used to seeing it at the top, so if I had it at the bottom, it would really confuse me, which is why I've left mine at the top. But if you like it at the bottom, it will work just fine with GoodNotes. So the last option is always open in a new tab. When you leave this on, you can long press your documents and then choose to open in different tabs. Seriously, I don't know why GoodNotes has this option because all the documents I've opened so far, they're open in your new tab. So those are all the options you can tamper with in GoodNotes. Now to the palm rejection. I put my sensitivity on high. I've never tested the low or medium or none because I'm very irritable when I see little dots forming on my page when I'm writing. I use GoodNotes as a note-taking application and I also use it for PDF annotation. So I really do not want any little dots forming when I'm in the middle of my workflow. It really bugs me. So that's why I've not tried those, but you can try them and see just how sensitive they are. If you guys want to know, I can do a video separate for that, just for the video. But it's not something I'll personally try for my notes. No way. And then you can choose the writing posture, how you write. Everyone is accommodated. This just helps your palm rejection to be more precise. And then your palm rest, you can turn it off or on. You guys already know from my previous video why I leave the palm rest on. I showed you guys how I use it. If you're using an Apple Pencil, then you don't need the palm rest if you're not going to be using the way I use it. But if you're going to be using other styluses, then you will definitely need the palm rest because some of them don't really support palm rejection that well, so you will need that. And then the handle of the palm rejection for the palm rest, you can either have it on the right or have it on the left. I have mine on the right, so that's just so you know where to pull it up if you needed it. And then the smart styluses, you have different ones that they support, not just Apple Pencil, though Apple Pencil is the best stylus that they support, but these other ones can work as well. And then you have your pressure sensitivity. I turned mine off. I think it works better that way. And then your finger panning, single finger panning, I don't know what that is, so I just left it on. Automatic backup in GoodNotes. You can only back up your notes into cloud services if it's going to be an automatic backup. And you can choose if you wanted to upload over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth only, or if you turn it off, then it will upload even when you're using your 3G or your 4G, whichever you'll be using. You also decide what destination folder you want it in. You can change it, you can change the name, and you can choose what format. So the format is important for two reasons. If you're going to be exporting it as a GoodNote document, it means it will be available for you to completely change it and annotate it the way you would when you're creating a new document. But if it's a PDF file, when it comes back into GoodNotes, you will not be able to edit it completely. It will be treated like a PDF file that you're annotating, and not as a document that you're creating from scratch, if that makes any sense. So if you're going to export it as a GoodNote document, when it comes back into your application, you can change everything completely. But if you auto backup with a PDF, then it means you can only annotate, which would mean adding more notes, or just like you would annotate a textbook in GoodNotes. So that's important to bear in mind. If you want to back up your notes so you can use them the way you created them, then it's better for you to just use the GoodNotes documents, which is what I have. Your iCloud helps you to synchronize your documents in GoodNotes throughout your gadgets and all your devices. I don't use iCloud, and I don't want my GoodNotes to synchronize across all my devices, so that's why I have that turned off. But if you want to use GoodNotes on your phone, if you want to access your notes on your phone or on your mini iPad and your MacBook, and then you can turn this on. And then the last thing we have in our settings is About, where you just read about Notability, review them on App Store. So this concludes our options review, and now we're going to move on to categories. Let's go through our document layout, or layout of our folders. At the top left corner, we have a plus sign. This helps you create new notebooks in your categories, and you can also import some notes from different applications and from different cloud services, as you guys can see. Your notes are organized into categories and master categories. By tapping the category option, like I've done, you get to see your different categories and your options. In my case, my categories are my subjects, and my master category is my academic year. This is my master category, which is 4th year, and I have 3 subjects in there. And then I have other subjects that I'm just focusing on: pharmacology, my planners, my designs. You can create a category or a master category by tapping this plus button. And on this page, you can search your documents. Let's go back to the uncategorized category. You can search your documents. They've disappeared. I don't have a note like that, so nothing is showing up. I'm sure this tool is more useful if you have tons of documents, not just 2 as in my case. So let's cancel. You can arrange your notes according to the date they were created or according to their names. I use a date system in all my applications. That way I know the most recent notes are always at the top, and I don't have to search through all my notes to find them. The edit button on the far right corner of the page lets you select documents, and then you can export them. You can move them to other categories. You can duplicate or throw them in the trash. So if you're undecided as to what category you want to put your notes in, you can just create them in any category and move them to the category you want. Because some applications, once you've decided on a category, you can't actually change your notes. I'm not going to delete anything. So let's add a document that we'll be working on in this video. Shall we? I think we shall. So let's change this cover, put something different. I want to show you guys how you create So this is the new notebook we are creating. Demonstration we'll create, and then we can start reviewing how GoodNotes actually works. So now guys, I'm going to start showing you how you write your notes in GoodNotes. So this is the cover for our new notebook. So let's write a name on it and see how it looks in the thumbnail. So I'll select. Let's see how it looks in the thumbnail. It's very tiny, but you can see what's written on it. If you want it to be more visible, you'd have to make it bigger. Okay, so let's start looking at the different tools that you have in GoodNotes and explain each one of them. So the first tool we have is the 4 identical squares at the corner, the left corner here. It does so much for you, especially for PDFs. So if you're going to be writing your notes, you mostly use the thumbnails so you can see all your pages. And if you tap the plus sign on the left side of this window, it allows you to add different pages with these pluses that are appearing on the left and right side of each of these pages. So you can insert pages by choosing different pages from your template, and it allows you to put any different types of papers that you want in each document. So when you tap one of the plus signs, you can have insert page, import, or paste page. So in our case, we're just going to insert a page from our template. Let's insert an A5 page. Let's insert another one, an A3. You can insert as many different pages and papers that you want. You can also import from different places, different cloud services, and also from your photos, but we're not going to import anything. And once you're finished with your edition of your pages, you can just click done and you are good to go. And then on the right side of this window, we have an edit. When you tap the edit on the right, it allows you to select individual pages that you can export, that you can print, or you can delete them by throwing them in the trash. Then at the bottom of the page, at the bottom of this window, we have the ability to copy certain pages or rotate them. So if you're going to copy, say you copy this page, you copy it, you then have to go click to done, and then you can paste copied pages. So you can keep pasting the same page as many times as you need. Then for you to rotate your pages, you select and rotate it through, let's say 90. Done. Let's go to our second page and see. It's been rotated. So this rotate tool, you can also rotate the orientation of your pages. So it is possible to write in landscape while holding your device in portrait, and vice versa. You can hold your iPad in portrait. I've turned it to portrait, and my page is still in landscape, and then I've gone back to landscape and it's still in landscape. And the portrait pages that are already in portrait, they will remain in portrait mode even though my iPad is actually in landscape mode. To write in landscape, you have to turn your pages like I've just shown you. GoodNotes doesn't have a landscape or portrait mode. Only the type of paper template that you're using determines whether you're writing in landscape or in portrait. The bottom of this window is also very useful for PDFs with PDF outline. So I'm going to open a textbook for you guys to see. So this is our textbook that we're going to be looking at, and if you go to PDF outline, it shows you all of this, the table of contents. So GoodNotes can recognize hyperlinks in documents, meaning that if you tap any of these, it will take you directly to the page without you having to navigate through the whole textbook. It will just take you directly to those pages. It saves you time and you don't have to navigate through each page for you to find what you're looking for. This function has made GoodNotes very popular in the journaling and planning community. It's important to note that GoodNotes doesn't make or create documents with hyperlinks. It only opens those that are already there. Unfortunately, you can't write notes with hyperlinks in GoodNotes, at least not yet. The next tool we're going to be looking at is the encircled plus sign that is next to our 4 boxes. This tool allows you to add image from different places on your iPad and cloud services. Add a text box where you can add your different text. You have these variants of text that you can have, and you can style your text as well to either include a border, change its background, put a border on it, put some padding on it, just depending on your preference. And also allows you to bookmark your papers. This is where you bookmark your papers. You can add a page above or below, or import a page above or below. So with this tool, you can import pages or templates that you haven't saved on your iPad, and you don't have to save them into your template for you to use them. So if you just have a template page that you want to use on a one-off and you're not going to be using it a lot of times, then you can just import it directly into GoodNotes and start using it without having to save it to your template library. And now we come to the shapes tool. It straightens out your lines and your shapes, and to use it, all you have to do is tap on it and you can start drawing your lines, and it will just straighten them out for you. It predicts what shape you were trying to draw, and it just makes it neater and straightens it out for you. Just don't forget to deselect your tools before you start writing again, because I forget to do this all the time and it gets a bit frustrating after some time, because I could just draw a circle or a square and then I'll start writing, and then it's still turning it into shape. So you have to remember to deselect the tool for you to continue writing. And then we have our zooming tool. The zooming tool is very useful when you're using split viewing. This is when it's most useful if you're going to be splitting your screen. It allows you to keep the same size paper that you were using before you split it. So it's very useful if you want to be studying from a textbook that's on your iPad. Now let's look at the writing tools. For our writing tool, we can choose between 2 pens, a fountain pen and a ball pen. I went into the details of the writing tools in the previous video when I was showing you guys how I take notes with GoodNotes. If you haven't seen that video, the link is in the description down below. Because I won't be getting into much detail explaining these tools, I'll just show you what they do in this video. We can select different colors, and we have a lot of colors to choose from and endless options, as you guys can see. And then we can also edit the size of the pen from 0.5 millimeters to 10 millimeters, and you're bound to find the perfect size of pen that you like. But unfortunately, we can only have 4 different size pens at a time, no more. I wish they could have more, but they don't have more. So I'm just going to take this back to my fountain pen. That's the one I prefer. And then now we can look at the highlighting tool. But to look at the highlighting tool, I want to use a PDF file. So the setup of the highlighting tool is the same. You can add more colors, and you have a lot to choose from, but you can only have 3 different sizes at a time that you can also customize, from 5 millimeters to as much as 40 millimeters. So it depends on your preference and what size you want, but that's not what really fascinates me about this highlighting tool. So highlighting in this application is amazing because most applications tend to dim your highlighted words when you highlight them, because it's like you're shading over the words. But in this application, when you highlight, whatever you're highlighting actually pops out. This is too big. It becomes more outstanding, as you guys can see. It's not dimming it, but it's actually highlighting it so it stands out more. And I really like this type of highlighting, which is why I used GoodNotes as my PDF editor for a very long time before I found a PDF editor to edit my notes. This brings us to our next tool, which is the eraser. The eraser in GoodNotes erases tiny little pixels at a time. It doesn't erase a whole stroke. When I reviewed Notability, I showed you guys that Notability erases the whole stroke. This is not so for GoodNotes. It erases just a little tiny section where your eraser is at a time. So if you have a big mess like this and you want to completely erase all of it, you have to do it little by little until you've completely erased everything. You can choose a bigger stroke because you have 3 sizes of the eraser, but it's much more work in GoodNotes to erase a big mess than it is in Notability. But personally, I don't really mind how an application erases, because I tend to use the undo button more often than I use the eraser. So if I have this big mess that I don't want on my page, I'll just undo and everything disappears. I'm more used to undoing mistakes that I write on my PDFs or when I'm writing my notes than erasing it. The next tool we're going to be reviewing is the selecting tool, and for you to understand fully how this works, I'm going to open my notes so you guys can see how exactly the selecting tool works. Okay, so you can select and tap, then you can take a screenshot and you can export this to different applications, or you can just save it as an image. I'll cancel that. You can also resize that section, the section that you selected. You can resize it, or you can just make it smaller, make it bigger to make more room or to use up more space, your choice. Selecting again. You can change the color of the words and text that you have in that section. You guys, I hope you can see this. Let me zoom in for you so you can see. So changing color, see how the color is changing. So it changes the color of everything, text and writing in that section that you've selected. You can't change the size of the pencil thickness itself, but you can just change the color. And it can also convert your writing into text. Let me show you with a better section of my notes, one that has quite a lot of writing. So I'll select this part and convert it to text. Takes a little bit of time. There you go. That's how it's converted everything that's written here into text. It will make a few mistakes, but the conversion, the OCR, is very accurate. And then you can cut, you can copy, and you can delete. You can cut. Let's undo that. You can copy these notes, so you can paste it in a separate page. Tap and hold and paste. There you go. Or you can delete it. So those are all the functionalities that you have with your selecting tool in GoodNotes. And then you have your pointing tool where your pencil stops writing and it just acts like a pointer, like your finger. And you can just scroll, navigate through your page without using your finger. This can be useful for maybe a presentation if you just want to be scrolling from one page to another. The last tools we're going to be looking at in this review are the 3 dots on the far right hand corner. Those 3 dots allow you to do a number of things. The first option you have is to clear your page, and then the clear page confirmation pops up onto your page to confirm if you really want to clear your page before you make some dramatic changes to your document that you will regret a bit later. I'm not going to clear mine, so I'll just go back to the tool. You can export your files. Either you can export just the current page or you can export all your pages. So once you decide whether you want to export one page or all your pages, you are taken to this window where you can select the format of notes that you want to export. If you're going to be exporting a PDF file, it will come in as a PDF document, like a PDF textbook, which means whoever you're sending your notes to cannot change anything. They can add information to your page, they can comment, they can annotate, but they can't change anything. Then you have an option to export your GoodNotes document. This GoodNotes document will allow your friend or whoever you're exporting to, you will give them the ability to change everything in your notes. So once the note arrives in their iPad, they can do everything that I can do right now on my current notes at the moment, which is they can erase everything and leave clear, clean pages, and they can start writing completely new information on those clear pages, and they can just basically own the notes. And you can also export as an image, which will be a JPEG, and it also has limitations. You can't do much on a JPEG. It'll be just like a photo. You can't erase a photo. You can add notes to a photo, but you can't erase a photo. Those are your exporting options. I'm not exporting anything, so I'll just cancel. Then you have the ability to search your notes. Searching your notes will allow you to search both text and handwritten notes. So I'll search skin. You guys will see throughout the document that I will have my handwritten notes highlighted. So you can search your handwritten notes, and you can also search documents and PDFs text, which is not a problem. And to answer a question from one of you guys, the OCR text is not available for exporting unless if you use the selecting tool, and then you can export. So if you want to export the text, notes converted to text, you have to use the selecting tool where you select a section or select your whole page, which I personally think is a bit not so practical. You convert it. Once you've converted it, only then you can export it to a few applications, not as wide a variety as you would exporting other documents. And this tool also gives you more options to change your template. Suppose you started writing and you realize in the middle of your notes or in the middle of your writing that you don't have quite enough space to write what you want to write. You can just change, and it will ask you if you really want to change this, because this change can be permanent. So as you guys can see, I just changed my page from an A4 size to an A3, and my notes have obviously resized because I'm using bigger paper. The lines are slightly bigger, so that's why. So this is how my notes look now. They're just occupying a small little section. And if I was to change, again, more options, and I'll change the size to an A4. So this is one reason why I do not change my template in the middle of nowhere, because I have done this before, and my experience with changing your size paper after you've already written your notes is that if you keep on changing back and forth, the application doesn't really know how to put your notes onto the page. They will try as much as possible to make sure that it fits, but in the case that it doesn't, and then you return back to your original page, then it will have lost a sense of how your notes were written. So my advice is that you should decide what paper you want to use before you start writing your notes, and just stick to it. You can change different styles of your paper, or you can just add a new paper size or a new paper template when you starting on a new page, and not trying to change pages that you've already written on. And the last option that you have is you can change your writing posture. For some reason, if you find yourself changing the posture that you've been using all of this time, you could just quickly change your posture in this tool here. Maybe you're drawing or something. The closest you get to hyperlinks in GoodNotes is the ability to navigate. You can go back, you can go to the last page, or you can go to a certain page. You can go to page 6 and will take you to page 6. You can go to page 2 and it will take you directly to page 2. This is the closest to hyperlinks you get in your document in GoodNotes. It's the ability to just navigate through the page. That is everything you need to know about GoodNotes. If you guys have any questions about GoodNotes, you can go ahead and ask me in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys are using, what applications are you guys using, and how do you feel about them. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on my next video. I upload videos every Saturday on everything concerning the life of a paperless student. Thank you guys for watching. Share, subscribe, comment, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.